Working Interferences is intended for mature audiences. Since the hosts never grew up, someone needs to be the adult.
Welcome to Working Interferences with Lance
and Holly,
the dental advice podcast for the average dentist. Here is Lance
and Holly. All right, welcome back, Working Interferences listeners. It's me, Lance Timmerman, and again, my beautiful wife, Holly.
Hello.
So, Holly, you finished the wonderful, beautiful, heartwarming show, 1883.
Okay.
Tell us about that.
I watched that show.
I tried not to watch that damn show, but I was in the room.
I got sucked right in.
Yeah, you did.
I feel like I'm a little bit
Why did you even bother starting that? How did you even...
I don't know.
Because you don't watch Yellowstone?
I know Craig Harder posted about it, and I was like, motherfucker. Right. And then a couple other guys that I know from dentistry, and I was like, what are you guys watching? And then I haven't gotten super sucked into...
So you have FOMO?
Well, I was so confused because I'm like, but then it had Sam Elliott on it, and then I was just gone.
Oh, yeah. You're kind of a sucker for Sam.
Oh, my God. I would date him, even though he's like 900 years old.
Yeah, actually.
And I'm married.
You would. Well, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I'm pretty sure I could understand. I'm pretty sure if you left, I'd just look at me.
And this show
Sam.
made me fall in love with him even more.
God damn it.
Little motherfucker. I was like...
See, I love him from The Big Lebowski.
Okay, I've never seen that.
I know. And you should, because it's awesome.
I just love Sam Elliott. And so as soon as I saw he was on it, I was like, I'm in. It's kind of like, maybe it's a twist like The Ranch. Nope, nothing like The Ranch. If you've seen The Ranch, it's nothing like The Ranch.
Well, no, they're similar.
Okay, there's horses.
There was cattle.
And cattle. And
a lot less Native Americans in The Ranch.
I have to say...
Please do. Because you have to.
I have to.
You have to.
You know, I was like, okay, if I had to do this, I would really hope...
And when you say this...
Come across the plains like they did from Texas.
All right.
I would hope that I would have the personality of the main character's wife.
Faith Hill,
where she was just...
Because she's hot.
She is very hot.
Even with no makeup, she looked great.
She was fucking gorgeous.
Wow.
I would date her too.
And a big fan of Tim McGraw. Did he not?
He ate a sandwich finally.
Jesus.
He looked so good.
That's some good family. That family's got it going on.
That family's got some genetics that, whew. But I was just like, Faith Hill's character.
Mm-hmm.
I
see a lot of you in Faith Hill, or Faith Hill and you.
Because I was like, motherfucker, when her husband, he's like, you're going to have to do this. And she was like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I love you. And she goes, now I'm nervous. Thanks a lot, asshole.
Well, I love when Sam Elliott comes up to say something. And a spoiler, we're going to spoil just a few things, but not enough.
Okay, it's been out since February 12th. Watch it.
Has it? Okay. But I mean, when Sam says what Tim didn't want to say, and she's like, men are such cowards. Yes. That's such fucking you.
There was a lot of, it was very, is it linear? Where it's like, it follows a line, very much like my personality.
Yeah.
And when
if you've never met Holly in real life, don't.
Or if you've ever seen me when my back is up against the wall, that is a very dangerous situation to be in. When you've backed me into a corner.
I've never backed you into a corner.
You haven't done it, but...
Well, you just said you, and you're looking at me.
Well, fuck. But I mean, I will turn into a rabbit animal. Like the way she was with her children, nobody was going to survive that.
The mama bear role was fantastic. She did great.
Yeah, she did an amazing job. Highly recommend the show.
So I'm just fucking around on my phone, barely watching, but I'm in the room, so I follow the show, and then it fucking ends. I'm like, that was fucking terrible.
He's like, that is the worst show ever.
Worst fucking show.
And I'm over here, and I'm like...
Just bawling. Jesus. I did not eyeball you. I did not want to look over there. I was avert the gaze like Medusa's stare. It was like...
I mean, because I don't cry a lot. So when I am crying, it's like everybody gets
Be
super
scared.
Everybody gets super uncomfortable.
I'm like, I got to go to bed. Day needs to be over. That's why we're a day late recording, because we were going to record on a normal night, but she had to finish 1883.
I had to finish because I was 2 episodes away, and I was like, I just need to know how this ends.
Yeah. I wasn't going to push it. So here we are.
Highly recommend the show.
So, this is an advice show, Holly. I mean, it's not a very good one, but
Well, it is a thing.
so
I don't know if anybody listens to any of our advice because
it's terrible advice. You really shouldn't. I don't know why anybody listens at all, but clearly they are, because we're getting a lot of feedback of what we've talked about and such. We answer questions from Reddit. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I got I fucked that up.
So here's the...
Hold on. We do Reddit. Oh, and a periodontist wants to be on the show. Pussy.
So does a pediodontist?
Oh, yeah, but he's cool.
But he wants to be on.
Yeah.
He wants to be on the show. We've got all of a sudden all these people are like, "Can I be on your show?"
Yeah, that was.
And we're like, "Is that a thing?"
Well, okay. I
was like, "We're gonna have to figure this shit out because we don't even know what we're doing."
Well, the challenge is, because now we're face to face. I'm like, okay, how do I plug this into a computer to then bring them in to talk? So, I'll figure it out. So I feel bad. Some are like, "Are you avoiding me?" I'm not avoiding you. I just don't know how to do this.
We just don't know how to do it yet. Because, well, I mean, it's kind of a. I don't know. We've gotten lots and lots of feedback. Weirdly, I've even gotten questions from Bianca's employer. I'm not going to say her name because of different things.
Okay,
I'm going to bring them up, but it's like I'm like, okay, what's happening? And then. Yeah.
So Bianca
I found out our staff member is listening to it because she's like, oh, yeah, because I had mentioned something. She goes, I just heard something about that. I go, are you listening to the podcast? And she goes, that's where I heard it. I was like, fuck me.
Yeah, so you definitely need to be careful what you say, because years ago I was saying something disparaging about a staff member. I really wanted to get rid of her, and that was the perfect way to do it, because she apparently listened and then got upset and quit. And hey, yay me, I didn't have to bother firing her.
Yeah, we don't like to fire people.
Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable.
Got to put that back closer.
Is that better?
There you go.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Because I have so much great input.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
So you had listened to Bianca's appearance and took notes, and so now I'm scared.
Okay. First of all,
here's the thing.
I didn't know that this was something that grown-ass people did in professional settings.
What?
Just walk in and think you're going to be seen right then and there. And
well, you see it every day at the office. We kick them out. But
no, we get once, maybe one a month.
Right.
But I'm sitting there looking, every time it happens, I look around. I'm like, really?
Because we aren't drive-by visible.
Oh, no. You
We're
have
not
to
near
go
anything.
into the building.
You're on here.
Take an elevator.
You're here on purpose.
Go down the hall and look.
This is not a whim.
No. Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what about our office screamed, just walk on in. We don't have anything to do.
Well, we also, our office decor, everything about it does not scream urgent care. We do not look like a subsidized clinic,
right.
Like the Indigo when I hurt my ankle and went and got x-ray.
Right.
I look nothing like that in my office.
We actually have furniture.
And
They're
art.
And not like little tiny, like school chairs. We don't have a huge waiting room. We have 4 chairs.
Our waiting room, we call it a reception area.
It is
the reason we call it a reception, it's as big or as small as the fire marshal would allow us to have. It was some sort of ADA code thing,
right?
Because I don't want one at all.
Well, that's the whole gist.
Is that the thing?
No, I don't have any wine, so you're the only one.
Whose fault is that?
Well, because you drank all the rest of the bottle.
Because it was mostly gone.
Well, it's all from the winery this weekend.
Right, I know.
Oh, guess what?
What?
Chris Stafford and his wife are going to come visit us, and we're going to take them to the winery.
Yeah. Chris and Christina. Cannot wait. Hey, Harry Wheeler.
I'm a little bit nervous.
You suck. You're not going to be here.
I'm a little bit nervous because I don't know them. They don't know me. And we don't live like...
Actually, they do know you.
We don't live like normal, like American
I feel bad.
families.
Well, I feel bad we don't have our house anymore.
Well,
because...
that's what I mean. We sold all of our shit and we live in this townhome. I mean, they have a bed to sleep in, but because it's a townhome where the bed for them to sleep is downstairs in the office / storage room, and they have to go 2 flights up to go to the bathroom. So it's a thing. But
they may only last a day. And
we're right across. No, because Christina, she'll show up. She'll see our view, and she'll be like, "I gotta fucking walk around here for the next 5 days."
And we'll give a vehicle so they can go out and about and see shit.
So that's coming.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so we'll be going to the winery. I work at Pondera Winery. Come visit me. I pour on the weekend.
She does heavy pours on tastings, so come on out.
Delightful wine.
That's what I said.
So, but yeah, I'm trying to figure this out.
So what you took notes?
I'm just trying to figure out the walk-in. I don't understand that. And Bianca's
boss
has the same thing happen where I'm like, Bianca, yours is even worse of a. I don't understand why anybody would think I'm gonna just. It's not a nail salon.
They weren't walking it. She was accompanying her friend who was coming for treatment.
No, she had talked about another lady walked in.
Oh.
And
I lumped them all into one in my head.
It wasn't all.
I wasn't listening.
There's multiple people.
Okay, apparently I didn't pay attention.
And I'm like, hers is even worse because they actually have a locked door.
Oh, really?
In order to get into their receiving room.
Okay.
So they have to come up, park, walk in, get to the...
And I brought... She was hungry one day. I went to Jack in the Box and brought her food. I actually went around the building like a bunch of times once, but I finally figured out, here's the door.
But that's what
it's not obvious.
Right. It's not like a nail salon. There's no like...
Yeah.
Like,
because I thought was it a
neon.
travel agent or what was next door? It was something else that I thought that was the door, but they shared the door.
It's like a CPA or something.
Okay. I remember going, I think I'm in the wrong. Oh, hi, there's Bianca.
Well, and you can see, but you go to, the door is locked most of the time.
Okay.
So you
it wasn't
can't
locked
just,
for me,
but it's because in their office, everybody is a provider.
Oh.
So Bianca can have a client.
Sure.
And, the other people within the facility. But I'm sitting there thinking, anytime someone walks into our office and they're like, yeah, I wanted to see if I could get a cleaning. I'm like, why?
You can, but not today.
Why? When you got here, maybe you didn't know exactly where you were going. And
I think it's part of it. It's training. Other offices, I think, would bend over backwards to find a way to squeeze them in. And if they've only been to offices like that, they think they can get squeezed in and get a cleaning. Whereas we want to train them to never do that again. And so I don't
understand why people bend over backwards to see them, because
it's a scarcity mentality versus an abundance mentality. They think there's not enough patients out there, so they've got one. They're going to do whatever it takes to keep them.
But so every time that happens to us, I'm always...
It's a red flag. I'm like, why the fuck are you here?
No, it's not a red flag.
It's to me.
But I always say to them, so you just were coming to make an appointment to be seen?
Mm-hmm.
And they will say, I was just going to see if you could see me today. I said, and I always tell them, well, no, we only see one patient at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So everything has to be
which is also fairly unique. Everywhere else I've been, nobody does that. So
right.
It drives me crazy.
But I think that you get patients that don't respect you when you...
Well, those other dentists have commoditized dentistry.
Right. You devalue what you do.
Yep. It's a nail salon.
So everybody who comes to you devalues what you do. Stop doing that.
Uh-huh. It's
Value
self-inflicted.
What you're doing. Don't be an idiot.
Mm-hmm. That's why they're willing to take these crazy fee schedules from PPOs. They don't value it themselves, so they've devalued it and created a retail mentality.
Right, which is absolutely insane.
For what you open evenings and weekends and
for what you all pay to get your degree, you are not a Nordstrom employee.
Mm-hmm.
Act like it. Act like you have value in what you do. But even on the side note of that, we had that gentleman that he had come in the week before. And so he had already kind of got a taste of our office.
Okay. Who was this?
This is that toothache guy that was there on Monday. And I went back and I was doing the financials with him. And I'm like, so.
The root tips were.
Yes.
He'd already come in and. Okay. I didn't realize this. So.
I'm sitting here thinking, am I just so used to our office that I'm not seeing what these people are seeing? So he comes in, he needs this extraction done. He's got root tips. He, is in pain. And I'm like, okay.
And the x-ray shows cysts on both of the roots. So this has been there for a long time.
Yeah.
This isn't new.
Right. And it's now somehow an emergency and incredibly painful. Mm-hmm. And I went back to do financial arrangements for him. And I said, okay, so this is what we're looking at. This is...
It was like $100, right?
Can I get to my point?
I thought I was helping.
And I said to him, I go with your deductible and everything. It looks like your patient portion is going to be $111. And he's like, okay, I can't do that. I don't have any money. And I said, okay, so when did you want to come back? And he's like, well, you can't just do it for me now. I said, this is not a multi-care. This is a private.
For those not in Seattle, multi-care is a big chain medical clinic. They have a hospital. They have clinics for regular stuff. It's a big, but it's a chain.
And I said, this is a private practice. We don't act as a bank and we don't finance our patients. So if you'd like to get your affairs in order, we can see you tomorrow.
Because it's an emergency.
Because it's an emergency.
You really should. Yeah.
And he goes, no, how about we do it next week? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's quite the emergency.
Yep. And he's like, okay, so can we do it, blah, blah, blah. So we get it all scheduled. And then he goes, what about pain meds? I go, you can take Tylenol and Advil combination. Dr. Timmerman has written you a prescription for an antibiotic because of the infection that you have. That's pretty substantial in your mouth.
Which will make it easier for me, actually, to get him numb.
And I said, but we don't just give out pain meds.
Yeah, I got friends that don't do narcotics of any sort, and I'm kind of getting close to that.
And since the Tylenol and Advil combination will give you the same pain relief as a narcotic, you can just grab that over the counter. And he was like, so he won't give me a pain med? And I said, no, he won't. But we'll see you next week. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, okay. But I'm sitting there thinking, am I so jaded?
Well, he reminds me of the person who will allow himself to have this condition just to be able to bounce from clinic to clinic to clinic to get pain meds.
Right.
And now we'll probably never see him again, and I never have to worry about it. And I swear to God, these people are networked. Because when I first graduated dental school, I think I got on the network as a new grad, and I would get phone calls on weekends and evenings and whatever, saying, people would call asking for pain. They're in pain. Oh, I got to be seen. And so I would call in pain meds, and I'll see you Monday. And then no one would show. And as soon as I did that for a good 6 months, I think. But I think I finally pulled my head out of my ass and stopped.
Well, you started doing something that was very clever at the time, because at the time, computers weren't as
the database.
readily. And so you would just say, oh, funny, I don't see you.
Yeah, I actually did brought my database home every night. And so when this would happen, I would be able to pull up Dentrix with all my patients, and I'd say, well, what was your name? Spell it for me. Okay, what was that? And then they would say their name. I'm like, I don't have a record of anybody by that name. Are you sure you came to this clinic? And then they hung up.
Yeah.
And then one time someone called, and so I did call in a narcotic, but I called in 3. And I'll see you Monday. And called in 3, and then they quit. They didn't show up. And then within a few weeks, it took a little bit of time. Within a few weeks, we stopped getting calls. People don't fucking call me.
Well,
and then I changed my after hours fee to $400. So,
well, if you are a dentist and you do get those calls a lot, it's because they have spread the word.
Yeah, they know that you're a pussy.
Well, that you're just so desperate for work. Pussy. That you're willing to give drugs to anyone in hopes that they come in and get work done.
Yeah.
And you have to watch yourself, because you're looking at getting into a lot of trouble.
It's changed. They changed the database here in Washington so that like Safeway was on a different database than Albertsons, and people knew if they filled a prescription at Safeway, they could still at least go to Albertsons from a different provider and fill it, and it wouldn't trigger anything. But now the database is all shared, and everybody knows who's doing what, and so it's harder to pull those scams anymore. But so this guy reminds me of somebody who was because if you have a valid condition that requires pain meds, then providers are going to, especially the pussy bleeding heart dentists that are of approval addiction, that they'll do whatever it takes to help, and so they give a pain med. This person would be, well, I can't afford it, but can you give me pain meds?
Guess what?
And
you're
then they'll
no
show
longer a doctor. You're a dealer.
Yeah. Exactly. So what else did the Bianca appearance?
So the other thing, because her boss also talked to me about this when so I've gone and had some stuff done at her place, and it's a great place.
Yeah, a little nip tuck?
No.
Okay. I meant.
No.
Okay.
But if you're ever in the Seattle area and you want to go to a really nice med spa, that's a great one. But her boss was asking me, she's like, what do you do when you have a patient who comes in, or a client, a guest, what have you, and you say, this is what I recommend, and they say, well, I don't want that, I want this. And in some cases, we don't budge. And it's generally with Botox, we don't budge. This is what we do. This is the recommendation from the plastic surgeon, whatever, facial aesthetics. We don't budge on that. I said, but on other things, like we generally don't do 6 veneers unless it's a financial situation and this is their end game. This is all they got. And I said, well, in general, we don't negotiate our skill. It is what it is. We always represent the best treatment for the patient. And then we go down and say, okay, let's say you need to have a buildup in crown, but right now it's not in your field. You don't have the money for it. Let's do the buildup in preparatory for the crown. So we're not sacrificing our ethics in what we should be doing. And we're having to maintain what they can afford. Because I'm not doing people's work for free. Nobody does shit for me for free. So if you need to wait until you can finish what we're starting, then that's on you. And she's like, yeah, but what do you do when people get mad at you? I'm like, well, they don't.
Wave.
They don't really get mad at you if you explain it to them correctly. And like when we have people who come in and they want to do 6 veneers instead of 8.
Well, and I always ask, where did you get 6? How did you come up with 6?
No, but I'm saying if we've gone through all of that crap and they can only afford 6.
Right.
Then we usually will have them sign a form letting them know this is not the ultimate result that you want. You have been presented with what should be done, but you are choosing to go this other way. And I told her boss that. I said, there's no reason why they can't sign something saying, oh, you want, I think you should have 15 PDO threads, but you only want 6. That's fine. I'll do it. But here's the form. There is no warranty. There is nothing you can come back on me because I have told you.
I warned you.
That 6 is not going to give you the result you want. And she's like.
Because that would be like 3 on each side?
Yeah.
That's not enough. Yeah.
And she was just shocked that could really be done. I said, when you know what your rules are, where you're willing to give and where you're not willing to give, then it doesn't become a debate. But it's when you get into such a situation that you're willing to compromise where you normally wouldn't is where the problem is. That's usually when it bites you in the ass. And so that was just an interesting conversation that, you know, in my head, I'm like, oh, I thought that was just something that happens to us where people want to do whatever the fuck they want to do. Can't you just do a big filling instead of a crown? Sir, you don't have 3/4 of your fucking tooth. No, you're not getting a fucking filling.
Yeah. Well, the last office had
It's
something
a
else.
piece of shit.
And they had more to work with. They took away shit to make the filling that you got. Now there's less for me.
Well, and when I look at some of these doctors who,
And did you use air quotes with
Yes.
the word doctors? Okay.
well, that are so desperate for the yes.
The approval addiction.
And it's not that I love when patients say yes to me. And not all patients say yes to me. But I also know that you ultimately have to pay the price if it gets fucking
If it goes sideways, who gets the blame? Me. So how about I already know where this is going? No.
But these guys who are like, well, I guess we could do a 5-surface filling. If you're doing a motherfucking 5-surface filling for $197, you're a fucking idiot. That is, first of all, that is not what's best for the patient.
Well, I had one. I was in an office and they had me scheduled to do an MO on a molar. So I'm thinking, okay, big tooth and there's a small little filling to do. Well, it already had a interrupted DO filling, a buccal class 5 filling, and a separate occlusal filling and a lingual patch. And so I'm supposed to just do a MO that isn't connected to anything else. But the rest of it all had decay and stain and issues and cracks. I'm like, who the fuck treatment planned this? Some new grad that doesn't know what fuck?
Well, even a new grad should be able to tell that isn't the best treatment for the patient.
They might know that it's not the best thing, but they're such a fucking goddamn pussy because they're afraid of getting the I hate dentists. Dentists suck. So they treatment planned. I see decay on the mesial, therefore we're going to do a mesial cavity filling, and ignore the rest of the shit because.
But how, in what logic?
Well, there's none.
Is that better for the patient?
They're just afraid of because they don't value it enough on their own.
Right, because they probably wouldn't pay for someone to do it to their face.
They just got out of school. They don't really.
But it's not.
They haven't been around long enough to see this shit fail.
Well, but it's not only young guys.
No, and
there's plenty of.
Well, if you went to
bullshit
Michigan
old
and
dudes.
you were taught everything, and you don't need to go to CE or anything like that, and you're just as good as you are from the day you graduated, and 15 years later you're the same level. Yeah, you're not a new grad, but you might as well be.
There's plenty of those out there.
Do you not have to go to Michigan to be this way?
Nope.
Okay.
There's plenty of them out there, but I'm here to tell you, you suck. And if that is how you are treating patients,
Because they're a bunch of
if that's how you're treating patients, you need to really reevaluate if you should be seeing patients, because you're doing harm and your job is to not do harm.
That's a Hippocratic oath.
I know. But it makes me a little bit crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. So what else did you hear or inspired from listening to Bianca?
The other thing was asking for deposits. You know, I have not ever been to a med spa or any type of higher end aesthetic office that didn't require me to put money down.
Oh, shit.
And what are you doing?
Someone called me, and we got Bluetooth connection to the phone. I wasn't ready for it either.
Turn your Bluetooth off right now. Now I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh, deposits. Almost every time I've ever gone in to have anything done, whether it be micro needling, extended facials, things like that, they've always asked for a deposit. why would I feel bad asking for a deposit for my office? And
I don't know.
it's your time. You see one person at a time. And Bianca's employer is the same way. She sees one guest at a time. And when people don't show up, there needs to be a consequence to them.
Well, what I found is was it 15 years ago or longer when we implemented people making a deposit, but even the employees I had at the time didn't understand, because then someone called and said, yeah, I need to reschedule. I can't make the appointment. And they just moved the appointment without taking another deposit. And I said, what are you doing? No, you need to take another deposit. Well, they already paid a deposit. Right. And they forfeit that
time.
They didn't keep the appointment. They pay again. That's what the deposit's for. And they're like, well, I don't even. So the people I had working for me didn't understand it. And so the patients are in the same boat. So when they're saying you have to pay me again, they think you're crazy. That's why luckily Bianca knows.
Well, Bianca's been raised by
well trained by us, because we said that's fucking bullshit, and she agrees.
But I mean, if somebody calls me that has a deposit down a week in advance to say that's not going to work, I need to change it.
That's a week.
They're not going to lose their deposit.
Right, that's a week in advance.
But if they call me 48 hours before at the end of the day and say I'm not going to make my appointment, then I have to have a conversation with them, because I may not be able to fill that spot for that amount of time. And usually people are like, oh crap, okay, I'll make it work, I'll be there, or whatever.
Yeah, when they find out the deposit's going to be forfeit, suddenly they can make their appointment.
But yesterday we had a little learning moment with one of our younger patients.
Okay, I don't think I was aware.
You were, because I turned all the lights off in the office.
Oh, that. I turned them off. You said turn them off, and I obeyed.
And I turned the music off. Okay, so we were turning shit off. So there was a 19-year-old kid who had an ortho appointment, and he was our last appointment of the day. And he calls me. He's like, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. And I'm like, okay. He goes, well, maybe 10 minutes late.
But didn't the mom call earlier?
Yeah. To confirm what time his appointment was?
Yeah.
But
so, I mean,
why are you calling for a 19-year-old?
Yeah.
Fucking, you raise your kids to not be dumbasses.
Is he an adult or not? Damn it.
So he gives me this call, and he's like, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. I'm like, okay, that shouldn't be a problem. I'll let the staff know. And then he says to me, oh, maybe I'll be 10 minutes late. I said, which is it? Are you going to be 5 minutes or 10 minutes late? Because we're sitting here waiting for you. So he rolls in, and it hits the 10-minute mark. I'm like, everybody turn out the lights, turn off the music. We're going to wait here just a couple more minutes.
I didn't understand exactly. So I already changed my clothes.
Yeah, Doc was out of his scrubs.
I thought we were done.
See, he listened, but not completely.
I thought when he said turn it off, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm like, okay, sweet. Like, I was so on board.
I'm going to teach this little motherfucker a lesson. So he shows up 15 minutes late. The office is dark. I have my keys in my hand. I have my purse on my shoulder. Stephanie has gotten everything put away. Tuba has gotten, I
have my coat on.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, you're here. I guess we're now going to do your ortho. And he's like, I go, yeah, your appointment was 15 minutes ago. And he's like, okay. And Stephanie, who is a front desk with us, and she's just like, that was the most uncomfortable moment of my life. And I said, yes.
Well, and I'm overhearing stuff because I'm grabbing things. I'm like, what? He's in a chair. So I had to put my white coat on over my street clothes. So I'm like, well.
But I'm like, if his mom is not going to teach him to be respectful of our time, then I guess I have to.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, he won't do that again. He was so uncomfortable that...
Okay, I missed him being uncomfortable. So.
Oh, he was so uncomfortable. When he walked in the door and it was dark out in our reception area, and it was dark at where my chair is. Okay. He just looked at me. I'm like, well, you're here. Everybody's going to have to wait now. Go on back. And he was just like deer in headlights. Yeah. And Stephanie was just like, oh my
So this is why anybody listening that may or may not understand, this is how you train patients. We train them not to just show up thinking you can just drop in and be seen. Call, make an appointment. You show up on time. So many of you other doctors are so behind. Whenever I work at other places, they're routinely 15, 20 minutes more behind.
Why are you so behind?
Because you suck.
No, but I mean, schedule appropriately.
Yeah.
Schedule yourself appropriately.
Well, but the same clinics, they'll give me 2 hours to do a crown prep. I'm like, what the fuck are you going to do with the other hour and a half?
But that's fine. If it takes you 2 hours to do a crown prep, it takes you 2 hours to do a crown prep.
Right. But then why are you so behind? If they're routinely behind, if they're scheduling 2 hours and you're still routinely behind.
It's because everybody is jumping from chair to chair. Yeah. It's you have the luxury to not have to do that in our office. That isn't the format of everybody's office.
Well,
but you do need to change how you schedule if you are always behind.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys are routinely behind.
Because it's disrespectful to your patients.
Yeah. You're training them. Don't show up on time. I can't see you on time, so show up whenever.
We had a new patient who showed up 15 minutes late, and we were like, oh, we're not going to be able to see you. We're going to have to reschedule you. And he's like, what do you mean? I go, your appointment was 15 minutes ago. And he's like, yeah, but my doctor never saw me on time before. I'm like, yeah, that's why you don't go to that office anymore. And he's like, oh, okay. Okay, let's reschedule it. I was like, okay, because I don't have anybody to see you, because I have another patient who will show up 15 minutes before her appointment because she's afraid of being late for her appointment.
Yeah, I noticed we had 2 or 3 today that showed up 20 minutes early.
Yeah, and they were all like, hi.
I know I'm a little early, but
I just won't be late.
We've trained them to be scared.
But we're friends with all of our patients.
Oh,
so
yeah. I mean, so it was an extra 15 minutes for them to sit there and chat with you.
Well, that's the thing. People are like, it's like I come to therapy and the dental office at the same time.
I mean, it works out, but I mean, yeah, we're on time. We either on time or slightly early. That's why it drives me crazy if we ever get behind, because then something really went sideways.
Well, if we get behind, I have the radar that I'm calling the patient.
Yeah.
And I'll call them and say, doc is running behind. Do you want to bump it a few minutes, or do you want to reschedule completely? It's completely up to you.
Yeah. Because if I am behind, because we schedule a buffer. We schedule 60 minutes for a crown. I usually need 30. So if the crown went long, something went sideways. But even with that, it went sideways long enough ago. I can still usually finish within that 60 minutes, whether I'm temporizing and referring or whatever the case is. But if I'm significantly behind, then something really went sideways and I'm having a bad day. So,
but it's important for you, if you want anyone to respect you, you have to respect them, and that includes their time.
Right.
And these people who, I was at the dentist. It took me 3.5 hours. What the fuck were they doing to you for 3.5 hours?
Right. I mean, I could do the whole fucking full mouth in that amount of time. So.
Right. But they're like, oh, well, I first see this person and then I see this person and then they took me over here to take it. Whatever. And then I'm like, okay, first, that makes me want to kill everybody that you just had to tell me about.
Very inefficient.
And I just think it's so damn disrespectful. When I go to any appointment, unless I have been told in advance that it's going to take more than an hour, if it takes more than an hour, I am pissed off. Mm-hmm. Pissed off.
Yeah.
All right, so that rant's over.
Okay. End scene. So, was that everything with your comments or thoughts from Bianca's appearance?
Yes.
Okay.
But we did have some comments and message ins from some listeners. So.
Okay, because I had this one that I thought was, actually, we had one specifically asking about our thoughts. So let me go back to that one. All right. So this, we both, your response was exactly what I was going to say, but I'm like, no, this actually was notes for maybe our episode. So Zach writes, Okay, white dude patient likes to drop an occasional N-bomb at appointments. You hire no black employees at this time. Guys spends a decent amount of coin with you. Assistants don't like it, but aren't pissed or anything. Would you dismiss that dude? Actually have a conversation with them about it? Or just ignore and move on with your remaining hours? So, I think we both said the exact same thing. What's your thoughts?
First of all, that word.
Is this the thing?
I'm not saying that at all to this time. I didn't get any wine, and I'm just kind of disgusted.
Whose fault is that?
Well, you usually take care of me, but because we've been on this not drinking thing, I blew it way out of the water yesterday when I was bawling watching that stupid movie. I'm like, I just need to get my shit together. And so that word makes me crazy.
Okay. As a white girl, I
don't like
deep.
that word.
Okay.
But it was because my stepdad was racist.
Okay.
And I have always had friends of every color of the rainbow, period.
All right.
And so that is just a trigger thing for me.
All right.
Now, as a patient, I would have to say, whew. First of all, I need to know why he feels comfortable saying that at his
people
practice.
should know this is in the flyover state. So I know things are regional. People are different in different areas.
But that word,
it's a universally accepted, unacceptable word. So
my first question,
and I don't even care if you listen to Jay-Z. You can be a big Jay-Z fan all you want. Doesn't matter.
First of all, why does he feel comfortable saying that in your place of work?
Yeah, that
would
weird.
be the first question I would be asking myself is what have I
why do you think you can say
done
that
or said that would think that I would be supportive of that kind of language? I would like to think that there isn't anybody that I currently know that would even dare to say that word in front of me.
Yeah.
And if they did, they would probably do it in a run away from me.
Yeah.
And so I don't really, that would be my first big question in my head. Secondly, I would probably have stopped the second it came out of his mouth and said, "Excuse me?"
Yeah, I don't think it's ever even happened in my office.
I don't think we have some white guys that think that they're black. I would like to have a gold grill, please.
Yeah, that
a bunch
one
of
DJ.
weirdos. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's just so globally offensive.
Yeah.
And
I think I would definitely have a conversation with them and just say, look, you just need to know that's unacceptable. Please don't talk that way here. You do whatever you're going to do at home because I'm not there. I can't do whatever. I think no matter how much, the guy spent a lot of money, so I understand where you don't want to
kill the cash cow.
Exactly. But at the same time, if he kept doing it anyway, I think I would.
Right.
I would
think
just
once
kick him
you have that, I have a lot of patients of multiple colors and races, and we do not accept hate speech in our office.
Yeah. And I think in this climate nowadays, I think you say it one time, the guy's probably going to go, oh my God, I totally.
Well, and that's probably it. He probably uses it so often that he probably doesn't even recognize that he is. It's like me with the word fuck. I say it all the time.
Yeah, you do.
And sometimes I'm like, oh shit, that's somebody's grandma.
I know.
But it's the same thing.
I watched it happen.
I know. I'm still not going to quit saying it. I was Mormon for way too long. I have a lot of years to make up. But, I would question myself for a minute. Why does he feel comfortable saying this in my workplace? We're not friends.
Right. It's just a weird environment to feel that familiar.
And that comfortable. How did you get to that point?
I mean, it's a good for you, Zach, for making them feel so comfortable that they'd use the N-word with you.
Secondly, I would just, if he was in our office and he did say that, I would just stop everything that was happening. Yeah. And I would let my staff know, if this is happening, this is what I plan to do. So that if you need to have a conversation with the patient, they don't Twitter around, going, did you want to take a color? You need to get the fuck out so I can have a private conversation with this gentleman who just used the N-word.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you do need to have a staff meeting that says, if this happens again, I need everybody to clear out so I can have a private conversation, because you'll lose the patient if you make him feel stupid or you make him embarrassed.
Embarrass him in front of,
So the staff needs to bugger out and disappear. But the conversation does need to happen, because that's, one, it's very disrespectful to you that he feels that he can speak that way.
Yeah.
And two, that just is not acceptable. I mean, it's not as blue as Washington where you live, but it's not acceptable.
No, it's just universally unacceptable.
So that's, I mean, and that's.
There you go.
I'm really glad we haven't had that one.
Exactly. So here's another one that I like. This got you riled up a bit. There's a woman here in Michigan that has a consulting business. She worked as an associate part-time for a friend of mine. She had owned 2 practices and hated being an owner, so she sold those. She tried to make it not working, but had to go back to work, thus the associateship. She told my friend repeatedly that she hates dentistry and doesn't want to do it. She didn't last long at her practice. She quit on my friend with basically no notice. She has that consulting thing going, though. Website is up. She speaks at local meetings. I know another one who is in the scenario above. Wealthy husband, hated practice, quit, and now consulting about how to be happy in practice. I say, fuck these assholes in the ear. They are absolutely imposters.
Well, and that's the thing that, so trigger.
So many triggers with this one. I love the fuck them in the ear hole. I've said that so many times. And
I'm like, ear hole.
Assholes in the ear. I'm like,
I was like, that's very creative. People are getting really creative.
That means I hate you a lot.
A lot. You're gonna fuck
but seriously,
my ear.
you fucker talking to people how to be happy. What? You're fucking not happy.
But I've noticed that in dentistry, and I don't know if it's every industry. It could be. I don't know.
Right. You know what you're familiar with, but it might be elsewhere too.
Right. But like, I know it's not like in esthetician and beauty. People actually, they love their job. There's a reason that they do it, because it's very creative. But
what's that like?
I know. Dreaming of it. Yeah, I don't even know where I was going now. I was thinking of the
fucking
wine.
imposter
All of a sudden
experts.
I started thinking about wine, and I was like, I could be like a vineyard. I was like, all of a sudden I got completely lost in my own thoughts.
Concord grapes.
But I do see that a lot in dentistry.
What, imposters?
The imposter syndrome.
What sucks is so many people don't know who the imposter is, especially the new grads. I feel bad the new grads.
Well, I feel really bad for the new grads, very much, because I feel like there's not a lot of authenticity in dentistry anymore.
It's fake it till you make it, and once you can fake sincerity, you've got it made.
Well, but you go to CE because you're required to go to CE.
Well, you're required to go to a CE,
right? But
unless you went to Michigan, because you're so good.
You're so good. You don't
Why the fuck would you bother?
Amen. Preach it. I need to stay on track, and I haven't even had anything to drink. Oh, fuck.
Okay. So imposters in dentistry.
But
fuckers taking CE.
There's just so many of them.
I mean, like all of them?
I mean, Okay, yesterday was National Women's Day, and I had this whole rant on social media because I'm tired of how blanketly racist everyone is nowadays. And people only assume racism is the N-word or something of that style. And I'm like, you do know that when you say, I'm going to hire a woman who has blonde hair and black skin, that is racist.
Is that Nene?
Oh, that is.
From Real Housewives of Atlanta? She's awesome.
God, focus. Man.
Okay, sorry.
I don't even know where I'm going.
I don't either.
But that is so racist. Stop saying that you're going to hire someone
Is
because...
that so Raven?
Okay, no more drinking for you.
I didn't hardly. I'm listening.
I had this whole rant because I don't think you should ever describe who you're going to hire other than I'm going to hire the person most capable for the job.
Right.
And I am really tired of these dental women who are
Is that with a Y?
Who are all over social media professing that they are so great and they're so... You're a trashy human being because there are people who know the real story.
Mm-hmm.
And the only people you're duping are the people who haven't found out yet. Mm-hmm. And you don't have anything authentic to say or do or provide. You are spewing some shit that you heard somebody else spew.
Well, there's a shit ton of copying. That's for sure.
Well, most dentistry is, unless you
most dental lecturers.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
And it really bothers me that there's no way to sift it out. It basically is you get duped until you aren't duped anymore.
Okay.
And it's a really unfair industry because it is so inauthentic.
Okay.
I don't like to feel like I'm less than. I don't like to feel like somebody else is got it all together and I don't. When in reality, they don't. Like this woman, she's now teaching people how to be... she got happy in dentistry by getting the fuck out of dentistry. Yeah. So is that what you're teaching? I can pretty much guarantee 150% not. She is blowing smoke up everybody's ass, and they don't know not to listen to her.
Well, that's a problem. So many people think all consultants are the same. They're just all overworked. They're all teaching similar principles, and they're just really not. There's the ones that are good, they're fantastic, and they're worth the money. And then there's the imposters who really suck ass. And
they cost a lot of money. The shitty ones cost just as much as the good ones. Mm-hmm. And these young guys, and young, I mean, if you've been in practice 10 years and less, you're a young guy.
Sure.
You haven't quite figured out the game yet. And you haven't figured out that if you're getting opinions from people, get opinions on the types of companies you need to be working with. But find the guys that already fucked everything up and find out what not to do.
There's definitely...
and find out who not to hire.
Definitely wisdom in failures.
Well, and that's the thing. Failure isn't failure if you've learned something from it.
Well, look at the real successful entrepreneurs. Most of them have failed 3 or 4 times before something finally worked.
Well, right. But in dentistry, it's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We know a laundry list of guys who have lost everything and come back to be bigger than ever.
For sure.
But you need to rely on people who have made those mistakes, because you're seeing all of these flash in the pan people on social media and you're drinking their Kool-Aid and thinking that they're great, and you're not getting the payout that you should be getting. And I hate to say it, but these women in dentistry are just super skeezy.
When you say these women,
these social media mavens that
the harpies.
Well, especially when you really look into them and you realize the smoke show that is happening.
No, you're saying this wrong. Smoke show means really hot. Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
There you go.
Not a smoke show. I'm a smoke show.
You're the smoke show, and I'm lucky to have you.
Keep telling yourself that, big guy. But I do. From outside of this industry, this is not my industry.
Nope.
I have had my hand forced into this industry because
I said I'm sorry.
just stay on task, sir.
I'm listening.
But it is our livelihood. It is our family. It is our, practice.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. And it's, that's the role that I play is, okay, I'm in.
So this is role playing?
This is like the whole Faith Hill having to cross the river yesterday. Stop talking to me. I know what I have to do. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And that's always my mindset because this is not something I enjoy, but it makes me really angry when I see these women feeling less than because they feel like they should be these people they're seeing on social media. And that's not the thing.
What is the thing?
The thing is, find yourself a really good mentor who's already fucked everything up. I mean, the best thing that ever happened to us is we went on that cruise. What was it? The second year you were at a dental.
Yeah.
And on that cruise, it was a dental whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But it got us in connection with a lot of dentists that had basically been through it.
Yeah.
They paved the way for a lot of really big things in dentistry, but that wasn't their first thing that they did.
Right.
And they know that this is a tough industry. They know that you can't believe everybody and everything that you see.
Right.
All dentists are motherfucking liars.
Yep.
They are all dick measures.
Yep.
And
mine's biggest.
They're all desperately trying to prove that they have got something special about them.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the saddest things about this industry, because it's a really great creative industry.
Can be.
But you need to treat each other better and a lot more respectfully, and realize that you're all in the same boat and it's harder than shit.
Yeah. And
you got a lot of people out there who are lecturing, who are in social media, and who are being, what is it?
Influencers?
What is that woman doing? She's doing
Consulting.
If they haven't been through it, they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have these people who don't like dentistry, don't have anything that's of value. Find yourself a really good mentor and ask all the questions.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's definitely good advice. So, Well, we've been going on for about an hour, so we should probably wrap this up.
Okay, because we have to work tomorrow.
Yeah. So we're working Thursday, and we don't normally work Thursday, but due to other reasons, we are picking up tomorrow. So we got to get this shit done. Think of a song. It's your week. I can come up with a song if you can't. Let me wrap it up. So
you're still the
rate
one.
and review us.
You're still the one. I'll find it.
Okay.
I
So
like that song.
rate and review. Give us some feedback. We tell your friends about us.
Yes, please.
We've got a lot of good feedback with the format we're at right now. What the fuck?
I don't know what's happening. It's my phone. I'm sorry.
How about turn that shit off?
I'm sorry. Oh my God. I don't know what's happening right now.
All right. So, Holly, if someone wanted to ask you a question, where could they find you?
On Globetrotter Grub.
What's that?
It's my Instagram.
Instagram. So Instagram can find you on Globetrotter Grub.
Yep.
And I could be found at Dr. Timmerman DMD. I got other profiles, but we'll just. You can also find us as a group. Winterferences. You can find us on all of the social bullshits. We have a Facebook page as well that auto feeds and such. You've been doing a lot of the social media for us, so that's been nice to see the stuff that you've been posting there. Send us an email at workinginterferences@gmail.com. If you have a specific question you would be curious to know our perspective, feel free to send that. It doesn't mean we're going to use it, but it's always nice to have some content. Send us the question either via email or on the Facebook group, and smash that follow button.
Yes.
So
and share with your friends.
Share with friends. So we take turns to choose a song and whatnot. This week is going to be your turn. So Holly, tell me about your song.
The Orleans.
Orleans. Is that like the New Orleans or Old Orleans?
It's just Orleans.
Because there's a city in France called Orléans, which is it's Orleans.
Okay.
And then there's a city in Louisiana, which is the New Orleans.
Oh, no.
Or Orleans.
It's neither
New Orleans.
It's neither of those.
It's neither of those. Okay, tell me about...
It's an old band, but I love them.
Okay.
And it always makes me think of you. Every time I hear the
Thinks of
song.
me. Okay, son
Not
of a bitch.
the band, but the song always makes me think of you. Anytime I hear
Okay,
it.
so
it
Orleans
makes me
is
happy.
an American pop band best known for its hits Dance With Me and Still a One.
I love this one. It makes me so happy. And if y'all don't like it, you can suck it.
All right, then. By the way, the group's name evolved from the music it was playing at the time of their formation, which was inspired by Louisiana artists such as Alan Toussaint and the Neville Brothers. Orleans was formed in Woodstock, New York.
Oh.
Why?
I love the Neville Brothers, though.
They are pretty cool. In January 1972 by vocalist, guitarist, songwriter John Hall. Ooh, John Hall's Kombucha. The dude that squirted semen in people's mouth. I think it's a different guy, different John Hall.
Are we done talking
In
now?
1970, in October of that year, the group expanded to include Larry's younger brother Lance
Ooh,
on bass.
Lance is on bass.
Drummer Jerry Marotta joined in 1976.
Okay, nobody cares about
I know.
this.
I'm just curious. Okay, so Orleans from Woodstock, New York, singing "Still the One."
Okay.
All right, so for Holly Timmerman, this is Lance Timmerman. Peace.
Love you.